welcome everybody to our very first episode of Star Trek Adventures with my lovely cast. I'm so excited to be bringing to you all some awesome Star Trek adventures because Star Trek has been such a great thing for me for basically my whole life. But we have some more fans here, some more Star Trek people that I'm so excited to get to play with. So let's do the intros. Pumpkinberry, why don't you go first? Tell us about yourself. Where can we find you most days?
Yes, I'm PB. You can find me at twitch.tv/pumpkinberry, and I'm a variety streamer who focuses on narrative games. I like to think and talk about stuff, discuss things that are going on in the games, and you can find me Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome, awesome. Very, very cool. Zeke, where can people find you?
Yo, what's up? My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. All Ezekiel_III. Man, I'm so excited to do this. I've done a Star Wars one, and I'm kind of about Star Wars, but Star Trek has been with me all my life. So, well, all of my adult life and most of my childhood. So I'm really excited to get this done or get started, and I'm nervous, man. I want to do a good job, and I don't want to anger.
You're gonna be great.
You got this.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. If I can do this, you certainly can do this. We'll be
Gotcha.
okay. All of us together. We're all in this together. Speaking of all of us, Holly, tell me about yourself.
Hello. Hi everyone. I'm Commander Holly, not to be confused with Lieutenant Lily Archer, who I will be playing on this game, who is not a commander yet, but really wants to be. And I stream on twitch.tv/Commander Holly and twitch.tv/D&D a lot. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons with Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm usually a ridiculous trash witch, but here I will be a plucky young upstart in the Starfleet Academy. And I love Star Trek. I could talk about Star Trek all the time. I loved it as a kid. Don't get me started. Everyone gets tired of it.
I don't think we'll get tired of it, considering
Okay,
that's
good.
the whole theme of the show. But last but certainly not least, we have the man who made his character just this morning, DeejayKnight.
hi.
Tell us about yourself.
I am a space sci-fi and variety broadcaster here on Twitch. So Star Trek has been kind of in my wheelhouse as far back as I can remember, because Captain Jean-Luc Picard is the only proper captain. There are many more amazing captains, but my favorite is Captain Jean-Luc Picard, just because
Same.
to make it so is just so good.
Jean-Luc, he's obviously the best captain, but I have a very special place in my heart for Janeway, because she was the first female captain. So that's the cast. They've introduced themselves. Let's go ahead and introduce your characters. So I know that you guys have a lot of different characters. We did the character creation, so there's a lot of detail to the character creation, and I'm like a big fan of the life path character creation. But if you could just give us some basics, like your name, what species you are, a rundown of your general appearance. This wasn't really in character creation. You can kind of just do what you think your character looks like so that all our fan artists will know. And then a quick blurb about your personality. So if we'll start over at Pumpkinberry again.
Yes. Okay. I am playing Roxy Kepler. I'm a lieutenant commander. I'm a human. I was from a busy colony in Mars, and I don't know if we had decided if we were doing operations manager or chief engineer, one of those two. And
I think we'll decide when we do the whole ship creation. That'll be something that we'll do together.
Okay, so one of those engineer type person. I'm very studious, a little bit of a workaholic. Doesn't really have a very good sense of humor, I don't think. Dark hair, light eyes, yep, and probably about like 5'5", 5'6", something like that.
Okay, very cool. And Roxy Kepler is actually our only veteran officer. So you've been around longer than anyone else.
Like 38 or something.
You've been around the block. You've been on many starships. Next, and definitely not least, we have our captain. Tell us about Solomon Dren.
I've been playing around with this, so
Yeah,
we'll
do
see
it.
how it goes.
Do it.
My name is Captain Somas Dren. I'm from Betazoid, but don't let that sway your opinion of me. I've been around. I've been a commander on a couple of ships previous, a medical officer on 3 before that. This is my first command position, but I think we got the right crew for the job. I grew up on a colony, a very isolated colony. My parents tried to push me into arts and music and that kind of thing, you know, more less militaristic family, but Starfleet had a calling for me, so I answered it. And this is where I belong, on a ship in the stars.
Very cool. Can you tell us what your captain looks like? Give us a general idea who we're talking to when we talk.
Sure. He's about 6 feet tall, just straight 6 feet. Has some gray, like he has dark hair, gray.
The silver fox gray temples
It's
going
getting
on.
it's bleeding into that. Of course, being a Betazoid has, I'm not sure if this is like a standard thing, but I think
they have the
Betazoids have,
black eyes. Yeah.
dark black eyes. Yeah. The like no iris.
From
no,
what I
color.
recall, that's typical of Betazoids. Yes.
Yep. So there's that. Distinguished looking older guy, probably like mid to late 40s.
Okay.
I haven't really like nailed down. I don't think it's really important to nail
So
down.
you started in Starfleet a little bit later in your life then.
Yes, definitely. It was harder for me to actually get off of my, like, out of the colony that I was raised in, and I had to, you know, get the funds up, save up, get a transport, all that kind of stuff, get out to Starfleet and do my training. They actually called me, you know, it's funny, like, I'm just going to make this up on the fly.
Do
They
it.
actually called me old man when I was doing my training because I was the oldest cadet in the training program.
Yeah. That would make sense.
But finally worked my way up to captain and ready to take the Bellerophon. Bellerophon, thank you.
Yeah.
Ready to take the Bellerophon out for its maiden voyage.
Awesome. Well, Commander Holly, you are the youngest of our crew, fresh out of the academy. This will
That's
be
right.
your first mission on this ship, so tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm like one of those people that is an incredible tryhard in school. And that's because I was born and raised on a spaceship, and my family is also in command in Starfleet, and I just wanted to make them proud. So I reached the rank of lieutenant through being in Starfleet, not through actual experience.
Through the academy.
Yeah, through the academy, not through actual experience. So I did go to the academy in San Francisco on Earth, and I just am. I think like I'm just a tryhard. Like I want to be, to captain a starship one day. I want to make my parents proud, and I had a bit of a hiccup when I was in Starfleet Academy, where I went out with my crew, and we were waylaid by the Borg, and everyone besides me died, and I had to fight off the Borg in hand-to-hand combat. And I made it out alive, but I feel terrible guilt for that. And I feel like I may never be a good Starfleet officer, but I'm going to try my best to improve that. So I'm even more of a tryhard now. And I say she's fairly small. She's probably like 5'5", like thin frame, kind of mousy brown hair and just big eyes, like big brown eyes. She's really adorable, but she can hand-to-hand fight a Borg.
Yeah.
So
Tough.
there we go.
Small
Yeah,
and
she's
tough.
She's small and tough and wants to badly prove herself and is fresh out of the academy. So
Awesome. So for anyone in chat, according to the Star Trek Adventures, if you do like basically a master's course at Starfleet Academy, you can graduate as a lieutenant junior grade. So that's what our lovely Lily did. Lovely Lily.
Lovely Lily. That's what they called her before everyone died.
Last but certainly not least, DJ, tell us about our half Vulcan officer.
Yes.
Commander Tuvol Sar is half human, half Vulcan, was raised on the colonies of Mars. And at a very young age, he witnessed his mother lose a limb. Her leg got amputated. So he went into the academy with a focus on cybernetics, prosthetics, and a little bit of emergency medicine, and found he enjoyed science heavily. So that was a fun thing. So he spent a lot of time focused on science, and also did a little bit of looking into security and medicine. In the academy, he had a little bit of a scuffle. As a half Vulcan, half human, he really fits into neither culture fully, and neither culture fully accepts him. So he pretty much is ready to go at it against anybody who challenges him. So he got challenged by a cadet in the academy and used a chair, kicked the chair at the guy, hit him in the knees. He fell and bust his head open with like landing on a table, and then Tuvol healed him and just let him about his ways. So the guy doesn't hate him anymore, but the guy never doubted him again. So yeah, that's a quick rundown.
What does your character look like?
He looks like me.
Just with the pointy
fairly
Vulcan ear?
fairly stocky gent, about 5'11", just under 6 feet, but still has a fairly muscular frame, and does have pointy ears, except no mustache or beard.
Okay. Clean shaven, pointy eared, pointy eyebrowed Vulcan. So one thing, we already made our characters. We have the character creation in the VODs if you guys didn't miss it, or if you guys did miss it. But there's one last thing that I want to do before we move on from character creation, and that's that I want us to kind of establish relationships with each other. Not necessarily everyone has to know everybody, but one of the values of each of your characters, we're going to add another value, and it has to be related to another character. So the values are short phrases that kind of succinctly say what your character really like feels or cares about. For Roxy Kepler, her values right now are engineer at heart, meticulous scrutiny and pride in her work, trust your instincts, and it's not over until the fat lady sings. So we're going to add one more, and I'd like you to kind of like feel out amongst each other what you guys think it would be. One more that is like trusts the captain implicitly or doesn't do that. Like a short phrase that will relate you to some of the other characters. Some things that I think are really important to point out in terms of how people relate is both you, Pumpkinberry, and DJ grew up on Mars Colony. So maybe you have a previous history there. Pumpkinberry's character previously had a point at which they listened to their commanding officer even though they didn't believe it was the right thing to do. So maybe that's a relationship that you have with the captain, with Zeke. DJ's character is the commander, the second in command, whereas Zeke is the captain. So maybe you two have a relationship, whether it's complicated and antagonistic or very friendly. And then Holly, you're brand new. We're going to be starting off with you just joining the crew. So maybe you want to impress somebody, and that's what your value is. So what do you guys think? Does anyone have a good idea? It's just one short phrase just to kind of give you like a reason to interact with. What do you guys think?
We were talking before we started, me and was it you, Holly?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that event that happened, and it was actually, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with the Borg, yes.
No, the disobeying order, or excuse me, obeying orders against your morals.
That was Pumpkinberry.
Oh, that's Pumpkinberry, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and tell them about that, and
Yeah, so I asked permission if Zeke was okay with having that be his character. So you would have been the captain that I listened to, even though I thought it was the wrong thing. And I have decided not to do that again in the future. So I don't know if we have necessarily, I mean, it's not like I hate you, but I am disappointed in myself. So I refuse to do that again.
Okay,
Yep.
so what do you think a good like value for that would be? Like, maybe next time listen to.
Well, I had trust your instincts, but I will add like perhaps
Maybe there's something to do with like the captain follows orders when he ought to follow like morals,
yeah,
because that's relating you directly to
to the
the
captain.
captain. Yeah. Which is like it's very short, it's a little phrase, but it's something that we want to make sure that like I'm going to challenge you with that, or you can challenge yourself with that, and it will give you more determination, which you can use to do a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we have Roxy. DJ, Zeke, Holly, do you have any ideas for how you would relate to some of the other characters? Holly, a classic one is just that you want to impress your captain so that you can get promoted.
Yeah, I think I want, and I also, because I think of the crew as the family, I really genuinely do want to impress the whole crew.
Okay.
So, because I'm very like, having grown up with crews around my character, it's important to respect the crew as much as you respect the captain for a crew to work together. So I'm going to try to impress everyone.
Okay, so that relates you to everybody, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm also naive though, so like if anyone's mean to me or like says anything to me, I'm just gonna be like immediately irrationally hurt.
That's great for someone who wants to be in command. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Exactly.
Good one. All
So
right.
I'll do my best to impress, but I am not as well tempered as I should be for a command role.
Okay, so your value you think is does her best to impress the crew?
Yes.
Okay. I want to impress them until they're killed by the Borg. Good. Perfect. Awesome. And what about you, Zeke or DJ? You got an idea?
I like the idea of linking up with Pumpkinberry since we're both from Mars.
Yeah.
And, she makes a valid point of that. If like I did not know that she was heavy in the science as well, so I feel like we might have met at I don't know, like a science fair.
Yeah, or if like pre-colony, because it's such a busy city. If we
Right.
were both super heavily into it, I bet we probably met at a couple of those either science fairs or camps or something, and then we both said we're going to the academy. Whether or not we,
I bet you there is a pre-Starfleet Academy entrance exam intensive camp for the science division.
I bet
that you
There it
both
is.
went to.
Yeah.
Attended pre-academy science camp.
Now,
So
did we
you
see
work
each other
together?
in-
Were you
Yeah, that's
working
what
together,
I'm
or were
wondering.
you trying to outdo each other, or what was that
I feel like-
relationship like?
I feel like we met at the camp
Mhm.
and challenged each other to do better.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Mhm.
Did we meet at the academy then again while we were going through?
Yes. So we met at the camp, started talking science.
It wouldn't make sense that you went to the academy together because Pumpkinberry has been in Starfleet for a lot longer than you.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So
so then
that's
we
right.
met
'cause I'm
at a-
older.
you've just
how
been
much
going
older?
hard your whole life. It's the veteran officer has been in Starfleet for decades, so at least 20 years. So she's been in
Oh, so
Starfleet.
that
since-
actually works out.
Maybe
so
I was your
at the
teacher.
right, I was at the pre-academy camp, and her character came and
Oh, did like a talk or something?
Yeah.
did a
Well,
presentation, and then
yeah.
saw everybody's work, and was
Yeah.
like, okay, this kid right here, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that idea.
So it's like a mentorship sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Okay. Cool. I like that a lot.
Awesome.
So
And
to then come under the same command, I feel like is a nice
yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
resolution to the character. So like that could be a situation where she's just like blown by the things that my character would do during these missions. I like it.
I'm excited. And
We
last but not
recommended you.
least, Captain,
Cool.
your relationship with your crew.
Yes. Is it okay to say that I obviously it's I don't know how many people are on this class of Starship, but probably a whole shitload. But would it be okay to say that I picked a few, and these three are among the few that I picked?
Oh
to be
yeah,
on
like
the ship?
hand-picked crew.
Yep. Is that all right?
Oh yeah,
Ooh, and you
100%.
handpicked me after we had an argument. Ooh.
Maybe he likes that
Absolutely.
about you.
Absolutely.
I love
No,
it.
because that actually it goes with like it goes with two of my values. One of my values is go with your gut. So
Oh, mine too. Weird.
There
yeah,
you go.
and that's probably why. But the value will be entitled something like, I just put this down as show Starfleet. My crew choice was perfect.
Yeah, that's great. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, we've introduced the characters. We've got interesting relationships amongst the characters. Let's find out what your ship is like, huh?
Yes!
So
Functional. It's functional.
it works.
It works.
That excitement is.
Do not apologize for that. That is
There's nothing to
fucking
apologize for.
glorious.
That
I
is
love it.
amazing.
So
This is what that is.
we've already got some a little bit established about the ship because I had some ideas of my own to incorporate, but now it's up to you. And first of all, we already have the name of the ship. It's the USS Bellerophon. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. We have a Starship registry that you all should be able to access in Roll20. So the USS Bellerophon is going to be a brand new, still a little bit of a prototype Intrepid class starship, because the Intrepid class, if you'll notice in the awesome book that we have, entered service in 2371. We're starting the campaign in 2370, which is a little bit before the Federation Dominion War, because I didn't really want to be in that time frame. So let's go through the whole process of starship creation, very much like we did with character creation. We're going to get the ship some stats depending on what we all choose together. So the specifics of each vessel's mission profile, the legacy of the events they've been party to, the refits and repairs they've undergone, and the requirements of the crews they've served make each starship a distinct entity. So the first thing we'll do is service, the year in which the ship exists, which I've already decided is 2370. Start date 48302. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Actually, I'm not. I looked that up. I'm really try hard about this. The space frame is the ship's basic structure, which is the Intrepid class ship. This is going to give some stats. So Zeke, if you want to probably fill out the stats as we go along.
I would love to.
Because you're the captain. So for an Intrepid class ship, which I'll go over what that is, the Intrepid class ship was launched in 2371. It's pretty small compared to the Galaxy class. It's more closely resembling a Constitution class. So the crew's around 130 to 150 officers and crew. So it's not the 1,000 plus that you'd get on the Enterprise. It's a little bit smaller. It's has a very.
You said 100. I'm sorry. You said 100 and what to what?
130 to 150. The top warp speed is 9.975. There was an episode of Voyager where they went to warp 10, but it was awful, terrible.
I remember that one.
And the Intrepid class is a deep space explorer. It's equipped with the best technology in the Federation. So you've got multispectral subspace sensors, the most powerful shipboard computer in Starfleet history. It's real intense. But for stats, so if you've got the Starship Registry, your systems, your comms will be 10. So that is command. Comms engine is not in the right order. Communication is 10.
Oh, communication. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Communication is 10. Got it. Okay, keep going.
Engines 11.
These go to 11.
Structure is 8. Computers is 11. Your sensors is 10. And your weapons are 9.
Okay.
And then for departments, it's got a 0 for command and a 0 for security. If you can put that to 0. Yeah, okay. The science is 2. The con is 1, and then engineering and medicine are both 0. So you'll add more as we go. If we have, where's scale? Scale, I haven't used this yet, but scale is going to be 4. So when it says ship, just go ahead and on scale put 4. So this is the size of your ship. If we're looking for, they have a comparison in terms of scale. A Borg cube is like a 7 scale. So you're very like mid-range. A shuttlecraft is like a 1. So your scale is 4. And then you have for weaponry phaser arrays, photon torpedoes, and a strength 3 tractor beam.
Okay, 1 second here.
Yep, absolutely. You can take your time. I'll go ahead and figure out what our next step is. Yes. So we can add the weapons as needed. We should not be fighting in this beginning bit. So I'll go ahead and move on. The next thing is the mission profile. So a ship's mission is a key part of what distinguishes ships of one class from each other. So Voyager is made for a different mission than the Bellerophon would be. So we get to choose together what we think this ship is made for, and the choices are either strategic and diplomatic operations, pathfinder and reconnaissance operations, a technical test bed, so that would be like prototype technologies, tactical operations, which is very militaristic, or scientific and survey operations, which is more in the science area, crisis and emergency response, which would be more like a medical ship, or a multi-role explorer. So that's kind of like the well-rounded sort of ship. So what do you guys as a crew really think? Because you guys didn't necessarily have time to watch each other's character creation, but you know that we have someone who is an engineer, we have someone who is excels in the sciences, and we have 2 people that are in like general command positions. So what are you guys thinking?
I'm gonna lean towards science. Just
Same.
Because I'm a science guy. Like, I mean, obviously, I want some science. I want some powerful science work.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, DJ, your character is in like high-end new technology coming out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so is mine.
Higher end cybernetics.
Yeah, so mine is also kind of like state of the art as well. So it'd be kind of interesting if we were a science ship that was exploring state of the art tech and
the
stuff like
state of the art technology or prototypes is the technical test bed. And then there's also the science one separately, which is like survey operations. So you'd be like scanning nebulas and stuff.
Ooh.
I know you love nebulas.
I love nebulas. I do love nebulas. I'd be down for whatever.
Holly or Zeke, do you guys have opinions about what you think your ship should be built for? I mean, there's also the multi-role explorer, which is just the jack of all trades, right?
I mean, I'm in it for the adventure and the proving myself. So I feel like anything would be fine. I feel like I would be bored with just scanning nebulas because I'm so short-sighted that I don't think that like that's when all the cool shit happens in Star Trek. Because I know that, but my character doesn't know that. So, but
like your character fist fought the Borg though. So
no, yeah.
You gotta be down with the technical test bed, like.
Right. So I feel like that would be interesting because she'd be really cynical about being on a ship that just scans nebulas.
That could be awesome.
So, yeah, Zeke, what are you thinking?
Since this is my first actual time captain as captain of a ship, that I think it wouldn't be something that's like in a war zone or something that is, would require some
I definitely
previous
think that
knowledge. This is an
the
exploration.
Tactical operation would change dramatically the direction of the show, right? Because being at war is a different type of role play than I think that we're all kind of wanting to do.
No, I mean I'm fully with the seek out new life and new civilizations kind of a thing.
So do you guys want to go with the scientific and survey then? And
Is
Holly's just like, why am I on this ship?
I think
Well,
that
I
sounds
mean,
good.
You could be traumatized from your previous experience.
Yeah, maybe they
I'm
were
sure
like,
I'm
you're not ready for
traumatized.
something that's gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, and
so
also like Holly, you can play that into your character. Like you can be like upset to be on this ship and there's no fucking
Yeah.
action. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
all right,
There's no
so
board to fight.
There's no board. Yeah.
Ship is stupid.
Fisticuffs. I don't know.
so for the departments for a science vessel, you'll get command 2. So add 2 to command. You go ahead and add 1 to your security score.
Okay.
Add 3 to the science score. So you're at science 5.
We're gonna science the shit out of this.
Add 2 to con. So
Yep.
3 altogether.
Oops. Yep. Okay.
Add 3 to engineering.
Okay.
And medicine would be 2.
Cool. Well-rounded ship.
Mm-hmm. And then you get to select one of the following talents for your ship. You can either
Just one?
Just one. You can either have advanced research facilities, advanced sensor suites, high resolution sensors, or modular laboratories.
I'll let you guys choose that depending on what you guys want to
And-
work with most. But just real quick,
Those
we
are on
s-
page
get the
255.
we get the 3 that they come with, right?
Yes. So the ship, let's go ahead and I'll take a look at what the Intrepid ship already comes with.
Improved warp drive, advanced sensor suites, and emergency medical hologram.
So you already have advanced sensor suites.
Oh my god, we have the doctor. The
Yes, you
emergency
do. You
medical
have
hologram.
the
Approved
emergency
warp
medical
drive.
hologram.
I love that.
DJ, are you gonna RP the emergency medical hologram?
If you get into medical emergencies
If
and
I
you don't
need
have a
to?
doctor, but most places have a
Be still my
doctor.
heart. Oh, be still my heart.
Well, I'm gonna
Because
just
I have 3
activate
medicine.
him just to flirt with him.
Yeah,
So,
that.
Okay, anyway, you already have the
I can make
advanced
I can make
sensor
a voice
suites.
just for the ship's hologram. if
You
need be.
already have the advanced sensor
Yes.
suites. So, would you like advanced research facilities, high resolution sensors, or modular laboratories? The advanced research facilities would give you long-term research facilities and allow the crew to study phenomena over a protracted period. So that would give you a bonus when you attempt research. You'll be assisted by the ship. What was it? What other things were we? The high resolution sensors is the vessel's sensors can gain large amounts of accurate data, though they are extremely sensitive. While the vessel is not in combat, any successful task that is assisted by the ship's sensors gains a bonus momentum. And then the modular laboratories is the ship has a considerable numbers of empty multi-purpose compartments that can be converted into laboratories as and when required. You get an advantage which applies to work performed within the laboratories. What do you think?
I'm torn because I like the idea of the modular laboratories,
So do I.
but long-term research also seems awesome. So it's a tough call because if we're going out, like if we have a ship that's made to like scan nebulas,
Mm-hmm.
laboratories are a must. Like we have to be able to go into if we decide that we need to go and check out a planet, we need to be able to scan stuff on that planet. I feel like so that's important.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm-
simultaneously, like there's each one of these options has something awesome that I don't want to choose against.
I'm just gonna say that probably in this short format, the thing that you're gonna get the most use out of is the high resolution sensors.
Go for it.
Probably. So, is everyone okay? Cool. Do that. Add it to the books.
High
Oh, wait.
resolution sensors.
Mm-hmm. And
Also,
then
the overlay-
last,
the overlay is gorgeous.
but
I'm sorry.
yeah, you like
It's-
it. Eric
it's
did
so
a great
gorgeous.
job.
It
yeah,
is
it's
gorgeous.
awesome. I love it.
Eric
it looks like the book.
Vulgaris made the overlay. It matches the LCARs. And last but certainly not least, we get to do the finishing touches. So this is, this is going to be, you're going to get your refits. So even though your ship is relatively new, you will still have gotten some small adjustments as part of the ship's maintenance cycle. because the year you went into service is relatively soon, you'll probably only get one refit. So these are upgrades to a single system of the ship by one. So you can choose to upgrade the communications, computer, engines, sensor, structure, or weapons. What do you think you guys would have upgraded? Look at the stats that you've already got.
Our structure is really weak. I know that.
It's true.
Yeah, if our structure is the lowest stat we have right now, so we probably should boost that, just to at least come in line with the weapons.
I'm good with that.
I'm okay with that as well.
Okay, so go ahead and add +1 to the structure. And maybe you just got some adjustments to the structural integrity or inertial damper systems. So that's pretty good. So the Starship Traits, it'll have a single trait, Federation Starship, as standard. Some additional traits that you could get would be Prototype, which would mean first of its class. Legacy Vessel, which wouldn't make sense. Renowned, which would be that you have a reputation that can draw the ire of enemies, or long serving, which is also wouldn't make sense. So I'm going to guess that Prototype is probably the best for this because the ship is relatively new.
Yeah.
So that will be another trait that your ship gets. It's a Federation Starship and it's a Prototype. The ship's departments are added together. We've already done that. The ship's got a number of talents equal to its scale. So your scale is 4 and you have twerking as a talent, which is great.
I was wondering you were going to see that.
I saw it. I got my shit together.
I snuck it in there. I snuck the twerking in there.
I really don't think that an Intrepid class ship, you can't separate the saucer section, Adam. So none of that. You've got its scale. The Starship, the resistance is going to be equal to its scale. So go ahead and change resistance to 4. Your shields are going to be equal to your structure plus your security, which I believe that the sheet has already done for you. So your structure is 9 and your security is 1. So your shields are at 10. Your power capacity is equal to your engines. So max is 11, which you go.
So do I fill in the 10?
No, you fill them in when you get hit.
Okay.
When they're all filled in, you got a problem.
Okay.
The crew support is equal to its scale. So you've got XP, current and max. You're good there. And then your weapons are determined by its class. So we went ahead and put those in already. The damage is equal to your scale plus security. So 4 plus 1, 5. And then it also depends on the weapon, but we won't be shooting anybody today. We can learn about weapons when we need them.
Okay.
Cut
The tractor beam never does damage, right?
You could probably use it to like rip a ship's hull apart if you really wanted to.
Sure, like dragging someone behind a fucking horse or something.
Yes, but
Let's rip their hull apart.
no. Okay, so we have a name. We have the registry number, which is did we write it down? It's NCC 74705 is the registry number. So that would be designation, I think.
NCC, say it one more time.
74705.
There we go.
And that is your ship. That's the USS Bellerophon. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for our first adventure. So I guess now is when I take it away.
So scared.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Wait a minute. How did? Never mind.
What?
Nothing. I was laughing. at
Why
myself.
did you add Klingon nightclub as a trait? God
We
damn
put a
it.
Klingon nightclub in the ship. It's called the Butak.
No.
Oh
I'm
my
never
God.
letting you be captain ever again.
Okay. I'm done.
That's
I'm
weird.
done fucking
Yeah,
around.
we have a 10 forward and everything, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay,
On
cool.
the Intrepid, it's like a galley style, so there's actually a kitchen.
Oh, okay.
It's not just
so
a
it's
bank
more
of
like,
replicators.
It's a little bit more like Voyager.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's the same class as Voyager.
Okay, cool. So we do have the same. We're like Neelix cooks and all that. Okay.
Yes, there is the ability to have someone actually cooking in the kitchen if that was
Okay, cool.
something that you wanted to do.
That's not necessary.
There's also replicators.
Of course.
You're fine. So let's begin the continuing mission of the USS Bellerophon. We'll start with the back pan to see your ship speeding through space at warp speed and coming to a stop right by a starbase, a Deep Space Nine, actually, next to Bajor. You're pulling in to pick up your new crewman, Lieutenant Lily Archer. So you pull into dock, and I would like to kind of like do a little bit of a montage and see where you all are and what it is that you're doing. So really like set yourself up in either your oh right, we have to figure out Pumpkinberry.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, am I operations manager or chief engineer? DJ, what is your role?
Science
DJ
officer.
is
She's
Science officer?
He's the
Okay.
he's the
Are you on the bridge or
first
no?
officer. He'd be on the bridge.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we would all be on the bridge if I was operations manager, right?
Yep, and Holly's helm.
Yeah.
Am
okay.
I home or security?
Do you want to be security?
I kind
Punching?
of do.
Okay. Okay, so sorry. We have a captain, a first officer. We have the head of ops, chief operations officer. We have a tactical officer. Okay, so Holly, you're going to be last because your character is still going to be on Deep Space Nine.
No worries.
But everyone else is, we're pulling in to the station. And where are you currently? We probably have a unnamed ensign in a red shirt at helm right now. Where are you, Captain?
I'm in the big chair.
You're in the big chair.
Yep.
Give us a quick glimpse at like what your like situation is like. Are you sitting there talking with your second in command? Are you just sitting quietly pulling into the station?
Well, we're docking at Deep Space Nine
Yes.
to pick up supplies and to pick up new crew members, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And do we have a specific mission after we undock? Or are we getting orders here?
You'll be getting orders here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Commander Sar are you sitting like on my right, like my first officer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
So I kind of look over to Commander Sar. We haven't served together for too terribly long since a prototype ship and all that kind of stuff. But I lean over to you. So, have you ever been to DS9?
No, Captain, I have not.
Heard there's a lot of charming distractions there. Will you be partaking?
It fully depends on what you're referring to by distractions, Captain. I'm not sure what these distractions might be.
You're not going to make me sorry I made a Vulcan my first officer, are you?
You're not going to be my first problematic Betazoid captain, or will you?
Oh.
Fair enough. All right, helm, steady she goes.
All right. So, Pumpkinberry, you're sitting at ops. Lieutenant Commander Roxy, you're sitting at ops. You're hearing these two gentlemen kind of antagonize each other over whether or not it's appropriate to have a little bit of shore leave. What's your opinion here?
So I'm actually here. Can you guys see so I'm taking the left panel, right? This is where my station's going to be.
Yep.
This left panel up front. Okay, I would actually like to be looking at. Oh yes, I can click on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold click and it'll pinpoint it so everybody can see it.
Yes. Okay.
This
That's
is the best.
fantastic.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's where I am, and I would actually like to be looking up your dossier for our new crewmate. I want to be looking at what she was doing prior to getting on here and all of that stuff, just so I can be in the know.
Okay.
As it were.
So I think that this is a difficulty 0 test, but I am gonna make you roll for it just to see like how much information you get.
Yes. Okay.
Basically. So I think that let's look at your stats. I'm just like, this is my first roll too. So I think that this is going to be and you can obviously like try and get a different, like you can argue for your own, but I think this is an insight and insight and command or insight and con because it's using systems. What do you think?
Insight and command seems right, just because with my rank I can probably pull up more information from her that way.
Absolutely. So go ahead and like click on insight and then click on command.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have any values or focuses that you think serve you in this.
Like meticulous scrutiny?
Meticulous scrutiny, sure.
Yeah.
So
Just that I'm meticulous, I guess I would be super thorough.
Okay. So we're not using a focus here. I don't think you really have one. So you go ahead and click no for focus used.
Okay. It's exciting. Where do I see the focus? Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Awesome.
And then task roll. Let's just don't click any of them and see if it'll go on a difficulty 0.
Okay.
So just click that little Starfleet icon. Awesome. So
fancy.
That's 1 success, which is obviously above 0. So when you look up the file for Lieutenant Junior Grade Lily Archer, you'll get information about how she hasn't served on any previous starships. She did well at the academy. She was very determined. She did have one specific blip where she was on a away mission at the academy, and they were going where they were supposed to go, but Starfleet was unaware that the Borg had arrived at a far-off colony, and unfortunately the rest of her crew, she was in command and no one else made it.
Oh boy.
So that is definitely on her record.
Okay. You said she did well in school. How were her science and skills?
This is making me
scores?
nervous.
Sorry. How were your scores?
she majored in command with a minor in, I believe, security and con, so helms.
Okay.
She did not have any majors in engineering or medicine or science. So she's mostly just majored in helm, combat. She took some team dynamics classes. She's very well brushed up on Starfleet protocol. And strangely enough, she had an elective in ancient technology.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Do I need to roll for that as well, looking up information? Because that's all self-found information for her, so that way she knows what's going on. So since we didn't
would you like bring up with the rest of
Not
the
if
crew?
they're sitting there talking about shore leave.
You don't want to like distract them from their argument?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to see where that goes. Remember, I kind of don't really have, I respect my captain, but he can be a little bit ridiculous, and I do have a soft spot for Tuco. So.
Oh, and Zeke, if you were wanting to ever like be like sensing people's emotions or reading their minds, there is a roll to be made for how much you glean. So just let me know if specifically you want to. Otherwise, you probably just get like a general feel for the emotional state of everyone present.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to, if I could, get get the surface thoughts of Lieutenant Kepler.
Okay, so
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Is it Kepler or Kepler?
Kepler.
Kepler. Okay, cool.
Okay, so if you've been serving with this Betazoid captain, so you're
Yeah.
aware that this is something that he can do. If you're wanting to try and keep your mind closed, it would be an opposed test. If not, then he would just roll versus 0 and then get as much information depending on the successes.
Yeah, it's okay. I
Okay.
doubt I would have it closed.
Okay, so
At the
you
moment.
do the same thing. Let me just check and see if the Betazoid has a specific talent they're supposed to roll for. I believe there were some specific talents for.
105.
Okay, so your telepath, a task to pick up emotions, unwilling targets as an opposed task. So it doesn't really say, but I'm gonna go with insight and let's take a look. Insight and like, is this? Are you? What? Why are you doing this? Are you trying to like get a feel for your officers? Are you
Actually, you know what?
Do
Instead
you
of
want to
doing
know
that,
if I'm gonna go for shore leave? What do I do?
no. Instead of doing that, I'm actually because that's I would reserve like my actual like really like giving an effort to like needed situations. Like something like this would just be like I'm just aware of people's emotions, right?
Okay, so if you want,
So-
if you weren't fighting against it, Pumpkinberry, then I don't think there's any rule to be
Oh, yeah.
made. You can just give
Yeah.
the like general like feelings.
Okay, my general feeling at this particular moment while I peruse this dossier is basically that's a lot of combat for a science ship. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Mm.
There.
So I turn away from Commander Sar, and I look to and you're in the operations.
So
Okay.
right here, wait, I want
Yeah,
to.
right on my left. So
No,
I look over to you, Lieutenant Kepler.
Lieutenant Commander.
This is my rank. Get it right.
No, that's okay. That's
No,
fair
she got
enough.
to correct him.
Yeah.
She got to correct him. Like,
No,
Yeah.
I know it's Lieutenant Commander.
Oh, do you out loud correct him?
oh,
Yes, absolutely. That's Lieutenant Commander. sir.
Wait. Before that happens, this is something that this is an ignorance thing, not like a purposeful thing.
Okay.
Lieutenant Commander is a lot of syllables. I thought I would shorten it, or is that not allowed?
Well, Lieutenant and Lieutenant Commander are different ranks.
Yeah.
No, I know that. I know
Oh,
that.
okay. So
I would
if you
say that if you wanted to shorten it, it's disrespectful to shorten it to a lieutenant, and it's more respectful to shorten it to commander.
Oh, because they call him Commander Data, because he's Lieutenant Commander.
He is a lieutenant
Yeah.
commander. Yes.
Okay, so I'll just call you Commander then.
Okay.
Okay.
That works.
It would
okay.
be disrespectful to shorten it to a lower
Okay.
rank.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lieutenant.
My bad.
Okay.
All right.
that's-
So instead of that, I turn to you and go, Commander Kepler, do you have concerns about some of the things we're going to be picking up? Maybe some crew at the DS9?
I don't know why you're asking. You already know.
No, I don't use my abilities to probe my crew unless it's absolutely necessary. I just got a sense of concern.
Well, that's all there is. Just light concern at the moment.
All right. I trust your judgment. And if you have any problems, I trust you'll bring them to me.
Of course.
Right.
The ensign at Con says, Captain, we have a hail coming from the station.
On screen?
And up on screen, you'll see, gosh, what is she? What's her rank? It's Kira Nerys. Is she?
Oh my god.
Chat, help me.
She's
what's
I
her
think she's
rank?
lieutenant.
No, she's a
she?
different. She's the Bajoran military. She's like colonel, or colonel. Is it Colonel Kira?
She was
Major.
major.
Major. It's major. That's
Kira,
right.
Kira Nerys.
Thanks, chat.
Thanks,
I don't know if
chat.
she got promoted or whatever.
Love you.
You see a jerk So
That's right.
Major Kira Nerys, she is a Bajoran woman. She's wearing a red uniform. In the background, you can see the general busyness of ops on Deep Space Nine. And she says to you, "Good to see you, Captain. We're cleared and ready to dock at Docking Bay 7 on the upper pylon.
Thank you very much, Major.
We've sent the crew that is ready to board there to get ready, and you'll be expected in Commander Sisko's office for your briefing."
Excellent. I trust you put the fear of God in the cadets for me.
Always.
Thank you.
Deep Space Nine out. And she closes the hailing frequency, and your helmsman, who is probably being replaced to go back home to get married, pulls into the docking bay on the upper pylons, and everything goes smoothly because it wouldn't be interesting to blow up your ship right now. Let's see where Lieutenant Lily is. You've been instructed to wait at attention in the upper pylon by the docking bay. There are several other fresh academy graduates with you, some older and more experienced officers. What are you doing? What are you feeling? Are you at attention? Are you a little more lax?
No, I'm definitely at attention, but did I get to meet Odo while I was there? The security officer?
I would say that because you're a security officer, that you would have had the opportunity. I think that you've probably just come in on a transport vessel as well.
Okay.
If your captain allows you, your new captain allows you, you might have some short leave at the station before you go out on your mission.
Okay.
But
well, I'm obsessed with him.
Okay. You're obsessed with Odo. Why is that? I'm assuming that you've only met him shortly.
I don't know. It's just I've been on a spaceship or space station for so long. I just like someone who's like a shapeshifter is just like, and security officer. I just think it's super cool.
Did you? I would say you've probably been here for less than a whole day. The Starfleet they've got their schedules very well knocked down, and they wouldn't have you just like busting your butt on a station for no reason. So you just arrived.
Okay.
Did you purposefully seek Odo out and try and get like an interview?
I probably heard that I was going to be assigned security, so I would go like, oh, maybe I can get some tips from the, typical brown nosing stuff. Like maybe I can get some tips from the officer here. So I probably like tried to find him to learn some things.
If you want to have an actual scene of this, I would say it would need to happen after this.
Okay.
Otherwise, he probably just like brushed you off because he's a very busy man.
If he did that, then I look really sad. Let's just say that happened.
Okay.
Let's just say I was like all bright-eyed, like, oh wow, I get it. And then like he was just like, I have to go, in his like really mean voice. And so I'm just like really upset. But I don't like not showing it, just like one of my eyes is twitching.
Okay, so are you standing at attention like you were instructed to do? Okay.
Yeah.
So you pull up, airlock is airlocked, I don't know, space bullshit. And you get off the airlock. I'm assuming that you, the captain, would come out to survey your fresh recruits immediately?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you see the captain approach you. How are you behaving to these new crew members? Are you very friendly and greeting them? Are you like surveying them up and down and not saying anything?
Yep. I'm sure they know that I'm Betazoid.
Mm-hmm.
Probably by reputation or by, they know who they're gonna serve with.
Right.
So I'm playing that up like I'm eyeballing them, and they're probably like trying to guard their thoughts, like think about baseball and stuff like that.
I'm not guarding my thoughts at all.
I'm actually not probing them.
You're just purposely standing there to make them think that you are.
Well,
Exactly.
you would definitely get
Mad respect.
from Lieutenant Lily that she's upset.
Oh yeah.
Something has upset her, and she's trying not to show it, but it's very, like you said, Holly, it's very present in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that, like, even without trying, you would feel that from her.
So I walk up and down the cadets, Like how many would there be?
Your crew is generally like 130 minimum, 150 maximum. I would say that at the start of a new mission, you're probably trading out about 15 to 20 people.
Okay.
So you have some people leaving to go do other missions or join their family, or just like they're done with their Starfleet career. Some are retiring. And these are your new recruits. So about 15 to 20.
Okay. I walk up and down them. I stop directly in front of Lieutenant Archer because of that overwhelming feeling that I get. Look directly at her. Are you standing like at attention? Like
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
like standing at attention, like.
Okay.
Just to clarify, I'm also at the.
Oh yes, definitely.
essentially
As
just,
a second
like,
in
standing-
command, you would
standing
be.
behind,
Yeah.
like just overlooking him, watching as he looks at her.
Can I also be there?
Yeah,
Just
you
watching?
could be there. Senior
Yes,
officers
okay.
would have the opportunity to meet the new staff. Absolutely.
I just eyeball you a little bit, and I don't say anything.
Uh,
It seems like forever, but it's probably only like 10 seconds.
I'm like just visibly sweating,
Yeah.
just like visibly sweating. I'm just like trying, like I don't know what he wants. Like you could hear her just like probably like I don't know, like it's like it's switching from anxiety to fear to disappointment to like to duty to crying. You just don't know what to do.
And then I just speak up.
Are you intending to scare her, Captain?
I'm not scared, sir. I'm
Is
ready
that
to
the case, Captain.
serve as best as I can.
Are you sure?
Very good, Lieutenant. Thank you for your enthusiasm. And then I turn to.
So she
I
just
turn-
awkwardly goes, "There's more where that came from." I mean, I don't know. Yes, sir.
I turn to my first officer. So, Commander Sar, you've had a minute to look over these cadets, these new recruits. You think they have the mettle to be on Bell?
Well, Captain, Bell is an amazing ship. I feel a possibility that Lieutenant Archer may be up to the challenge, but maybe she doesn't believe so.
I think down at the end of the line of recruits, there's another like fresh academy graduate who has fallen out of attention and is like leaning a little bit against the wall of the hallway of the corridor.
Oh no.
Excuse me.
Huh? And then they like jump forward because you weren't paying attention to them. It's a young human woman. She's probably about the same age as Lieutenant Archer, if not a little bit younger. She's an ensign, and she was brought on board, you would know, just for like she's a science officer, general research.
Oh,
Ooh.
and I walk up to her.
Ensign,
Uh,
do you not understand how attention works?
I'm sorry, Commander. Just they had us waiting here for a while. It won't happen again, sir. And she like straightens up, and you can tell that she's, you know, like this is her first posting, and the Bellerophon's a brand new ship, and she's nervous.
I understand that you may be nervous, Ensign, but I would assume this would be the last time.
Of course, sir.
I thank you.
And I just walk back off toward the captain.
She looks over at like Lieutenant Lily, and there's like big wide eyes. You guys
They were
probably
just making
took some
eyes at each other
classes.
like, holy shit.
You probably took some classes together, and you're both just like, ah.
Intense.
yeah. Exactly.
So, I move to the front of all the cadets,
Mhm.
and I address all of them. You have the honor of serving aboard a prototype ship. The Bellerophon has many new accoutrements. I might ask you to do some strange things while we're exploring space,
I'm sorry.
because we have equipment that needs testing and systems that need refining. But I guarantee you, if you serve with me, you serve well, this will be the best ship you've ever been on and the best crew you've ever been a part of. There's a
And
lot out there in the stars, and I intend to find all of it.
and
I
if
can
the
confirm as the captain.
sorry, like if the crew sensed that you were done with your speech, there would be like a yes sir, and like the feet like from attention like snap together. And does Star Trek have a salute? Does Starfleet do a salute? I don't remember, but
I've never seen one.
Okay,
Do
then
they?
they just snap their heels together and at attention. Yes sir, all in unison.
All right,
I'm
you
a
have
little
your
off.
orders. Sorry?
My yes sir is it's like yes sir. It's just like a little off.
All right, you all have your orders. We leave at 800 hours. Dismissed.
So they would be able to fall out of attention. And have you assigned anyone to take these new crew members to their quarters? Are you going to be giving them tours of the ship? Are you assigning anyone to give a tour of the ship to any of the important people? The only person, there's two people who are being assigned to bridge crew from this group, one of which is Lieutenant Archer, and the other of which is unnamed redshirt number 2, who will be our helmsman. So Archer is going to be up at the tactical. Sorry, I forgot you weren't helm for a second there, Holly. So do you want to give like a special guided tour of the bridge to these two, or they would both be lieutenants coming from the the master's program at the academy?
And are you asking me that?
Yeah, as the captain.
I would assign my first officer to do that.
Okay, so
Yay.
Commander, you would be assigned to take these.
I don't worry about that shit. I'm the captain.
No, absolutely. You can assign it to whomever you like. So as you're assigned to escort these two specific new lieutenants to the bridge, show them their stations, and then also escort them to their quarters afterwards so that they can, stow their gear to get ready for the mission tomorrow.
Sounds good.
So
So I walk off while everybody gets dismissed.
let's
I'm
do that,
taking
yeah,
Lieutenant
first, and then we'll
Archer
go to what
and-
Captain does.
So, am I going for this, or are we
Yes,
seeing what
you'll
the
be
captain does?
taking
All right.
Lieutenant Archer and Lieutenant Cochrane to the bridge.
All right. So as we walk up to the bridge,
Lieutenant Archer,
Yes sir.
I sense you're nervous. I understand this. You focused in security at the academy, yes?
Yes sir. Yes sir. I did.
Then over there is your desk. That is your station. If you have any questions,
No. Excellent, sir. Thank you, sir. And she'll toddle over to the security station and start just like feeling it out.
There's probably already a tactical officer at the station. There's generally, I believe, 2 or 3 shifts, depending on what the captain assigns. So this would be the afternoon shift tactical officer. You'll probably, depending on what the captain assigns you, be a different shift, or maybe this person is leaving.
All right.
I figure half shifts to
Okay.
learn from multiple people. So I would assign her to finish half of a shift and to go to her quarters in the meantime until that halfway through the shift happens, and then so that way she's learning from 2 people instead of just 1.
Perfect. So, as the commander says, you'll be starting straight out the gate with a half shift under this tactical officer, and then tomorrow another half shift under the morning tactical officer.
Okay.
So, and then
Perfect.
Unnamed redshirt Lieutenant Cochrane, will, I'm assuming, be taken to the helm and introduced to the person who is at helm right now. Do you have any like words of wisdom for these new officers? Are you as quiet as your captain was, or are you a little bit more friendly?
I feel like I am friendly,
Mhm.
but there is Commander Cochran human as well.
Yes.
All right, so Lieutenant Cochran and Lieutenant Archer, you are also human. Just to verify, I just want to make
Yes,
sure.
yeah, I'm here as well. I'm kind of just like looking at my console and then like just looking back to you when I think you're not looking at me. But like sometimes our eyes meet and it's like super awkward.
The other tactical officer is like pointing out differences in this ship's console from those you might have learned on at the academy.
Lieutenants.
Yes, Commander.
We expect excellence of you when you are on this vessel. We welcome you to the Bell with open arms. Remember, though, when your time comes, lives may hang in the balance. Know this. Accept this. And you will handle this position well. Do you have any questions before I release you?
No, Commander. Thank you. We will do our best to preserve the sanctity of life on this vessel.
And Lieutenant Cochran just says, no questions, Commander. And then, like, after you stop looking at her, she whispers to the helmsman that's currently at the station. And it's like, what time was I supposed to be here?
Well, we're not done yet. I will walk you to your quarters, and you will resume at 0800 hours. In the meantime, let me show you where your quarters are. Follow me.
And I walk them both to their quarters.
Okay, so in the meantime, Captain Dren and Lieutenant Commander Kepler, you two are in the corridor. I'm assuming that the rest of the crewmen have been ushered to their appropriate places. And Captain, you have a meeting with I think it's Captain Cisco by now. Captain Cisco up in the ops.
Oh, I can't wait to hear you do Cisco. So let's go.
Are you gonna be taking your lieutenant commander with you? Are you gonna excuse the lieutenant commander or?
Second in command?
No, you went to escort the people to the bridge.
I was about to say, because that was odd. I would love to be in multiple places at once.
Unfortunately, that's not possible.
No, that would be me.
This isn't a clandestine mission or anything like that, right?
No.
Okay, so,
and
yeah,
as a senior officer, the chief ops has every right to be in these meetings.
Yep, I'll take Commander Kepler with me into the meeting for a second opinion, and also to hopefully build more trust between us.
All right, so you go through various corridors and oh god, I'm blanking, like the turbo lift. Yeah. And various turbo lifts and arrive at ops. Major Kira is there, nods you into the office of Captain Cisco, who is sitting leaned back in his desk. He takes his feet off his desk when you get in. He's rolling a baseball between his fingers, which he tosses into the air and grabs. I'm assuming that you two have met before, Captain Dren. You maybe you've met at various like Starfleet, I don't know, fancy dress parties or academy get-togethers. Maybe you were in academy classes together. How do you know Captain Cisco?
No, that sounds like Federation functions, graduation ceremonies, that kind of thing. Benjamin, that's right.
Benjamin,
that's right. Yeah, and I would like if it's not too cheesy or whatever, like I would love to have Benjamin have taken me to like either a Hollow Suite baseball game.
Oh yeah, he would be totally down for that. Anyone who has any interest in baseball, yes,
So yeah. So at one point, like in the past, I saw him. We started talking about like our home worlds and that kind of stuff, and he got to talking about baseball, and I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. He's like, oh, it's great, blah blah blah, and he took me to a game, and we had some hot dogs.
Nice. Holodeck.
I would also
future
like to
hot dogs.
I would also like to suggest that I know him just because I'm a veteran officer. So
That's
even if I
absolutely
didn't-
true. Yes,
Yeah,
you've been in this game for decades, so it's very likely that you also. How well do you know Cisco? Have you actually hung out like Captain Dren did, and went to a baseball game, or is it just Federation like meetings and graduations and the like?
Just to change it up a little bit, I think I never had the pleasure of actually hanging out with him outside of the
Okay.
work environment. So I've seen him quite a lot at functions, but just never had the opportunity.
Yeah, as captain of this station in particular, Cisco is pretty important to the current state of things in the Federation. So he would have been consulted at Federation headquarters several times, in which case you could definitely have met him. So yeah, he tosses the baseball into the air, stands up from his chair, comes around the desk, and like reaches out a hand to like shake yours, like a very casually, like, oh, good to see you, Somas. Welcome in. I know, unfortunately, you don't have much time at the station, but of course, while you're here, if you wanna go to the Holo Suites at Quarks, we could catch a game, or.
Well, I don't know. Has your curveball gotten any better, Benjamin?
Don't talk to me about that. I told you that was just a fluke. Okay, so Commander Cisco.
Walk-off double, if we want to call that a fluke.
Ugh. Maybe we won't play baseball then.
All right.
And he turns to Roxy and says, it's Lieutenant Commander Kepler, right?
That's correct.
Welcome to the station. It's good to
It's
have
nice
you
to-
here.
It's nice to see you in person finally.
Same could be said for you. I've heard of your crazy engineering antics.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd
My
love to see what you could do with some of the stuff on the station if you had some more time, but O'Brien's got his hands full.
Trying to poach my officers, huh?
I would never, but we do kind of have to get down to business. The Admiral Jensen sent me your dossier for your new recruits, and I think that you'll be well suited for this mission. I don't know if you've heard that lately we've been having some trouble with the Federation colonies on the outskirts of the neutral zone between here and Cardassian space. There's been some small rebellions. Well, to put it bluntly, it's more than a small rebellion. They've named themselves the Maquis, and they've been hitting both Cardassian and Federation colonies alike from somewhere within the Badlands. We can't...
I've heard some buzzing about that, but what do the Maquis want?
They aren't happy with the treaty we signed with Cardassia. They say that the Cardassians in the neutral zone have been taking advantage of Federation colonies, attacking them, and
have they?
we don't have any proof at the moment that they've been acting outside of the treaty. We've been trying to calm down our own Federation colonists, but they need some particular attention, and you've been sent to find where these Maquis rebels are and to lead them back into the fold, as it were. We can't have Federation colonists sacking Cardassian colonies.
Well, they should have given me a gunship rather than
This isn't a tactical mission. If we can do this without any loss of life, that would be preferable. You're being sent because of your experience with negotiations.
I see.
And
so I'm supposed to talk fanatic rebels back into the fold. Is that what Starfleet's telling me?
They're Federation citizens. Surely there's sense to be seen. And your ship in particular, with its advanced sensors, is best suited to navigate through the Badlands. The conditions there, the plasma storms, it's difficult, which is why we haven't been able to find these rebels yet. People don't just rebel for no reason. They're unhappy. And if we can find proof that the Cardassians are, in fact, breaking the treaty, then we'll have something to go with. But as of yet, that's why you're being sent there.
Do we have any leverage against them? Something to offer them to get them to come back, or just kind words?
I have and he hands you a pad. I have all of the information we have about the current situation in the Badlands here for you. If you have anything specific, of course, your computer has access to any of these documents as well.
Is there a particular leader that I should be on the lookout for?
We have several leads towards who might be in charge of this rebellion, but as of yet, we don't know. They haven't made any demands. They're just causing trouble.
All right. So my mission is to go in there, navigate through the Badlands, find the Maquis encampment, and wag my finger at them and tell them to come back. Is that about right? Is that about the size of it?
Find out what they want, find out who's in charge, and find any kind of evidence you can about whether or not the Cardassians have actually been mishandling the colonies on their side of the neutral zone. If that's the case, then, well, we want to make sure that our citizens are well cared for. But this treaty was hard fought. It won't be easy to just put it down again and strike up negotiations once more. You know, the Cardassians are
Understood.
a handful.
Where should I, if they do decide to give it up, are they allowed to stay there, or should they be moved to a different location?
We offered the colonists to be resettled, but these are their homes. Most of these people have been there for generations. They don't just get up and leave.
Right.
If they'd be willing to relocate, we would absolutely find new colonies not in the neutral zone for them. But I don't think that you'll find it that easy.
All right. So, information, fact finding, all that kind of stuff. No bloodshed. And then we come home, yeah?
With whatever information you have. It might be hard to get communications in and out of the Badlands, so use your best judgment.
All right. Well, also give us a chance to use all the bells and whistles that the Bell came with.
I hope you'll find her to be a satisfactory ship. We got our own prototype recently, the Defiant. You ever taken her out?
I haven't had the pleasure.
Ugh, if we had more time, but this is of the utmost importance.
Absolutely. Well, got a little bit of time. I gave the crew a little bit of time to get their R&R in before we set off tomorrow. So, anything happening anything new around the station that you want to show me? Anything exciting? Or am I just left to my own devices?
I wish I had the time, but with all this ruckus going on, I have my own tasks to attend to. We'll have to rain check on that ball game. And he does the little point at you rain check.
Yep.
And then I think he turns to Lieutenant Commander Roxy and says, "You'll have your hands full with the Bellerophon. I've heard some good things about the new warp core." that they put
Try
in.
not to get too excited.
9.975. You'll have to tell me how far you can stretch that when you get back.
I definitely will. I look forward to seeing you again, and we will do our utmost to see this mission through to completion. Captain, are you ready?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did I when we were talking about the mission, did I get a sense from Cisco of any like overly concern or
Cisco is like a very well controlled guy.
Sure.
So he's got his emotions pretty well guarded. So if you wanted to get a feeling for like what he was feeling or thinking, you would definitely have to make a roll. And the higher you get, the more information you would get. I don't think it's opposed. He's not like actively concealing his thoughts and feelings from you, but he's like very much kind of like on guard and controlled when it comes to maintaining a neutral facade. So
Sure. Now I'm coming obviously off of a D&D background. Like if I do that, like they don't know, right?
No.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good. So I'll go ahead and make the roll then.
You can choose to, if it's another telepath, like you can probably talk to Commander Sar mind to mind, because you both have telepathic abilities. He's half Vulcan. You aren't close enough to Cisco to be able to actually talk into his mind. He knows that you're a Betazoid, so he knows that you have this ability, and most people who are within the Federation probably trust you to like manage and not like prod too much, because like you are a Betazoid and you've gone through this system and you wouldn't overstep the boundaries, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Unless you want to overstep boundaries, in which case we could discuss like how you would use information you glean and whatnot. But to this point, I don't think that you would have, because that would be a very different character.
Now, so reading Captain Cisco would be like more morally like gray.
It'd be fine, because
I
you're
love that
not
you had
trying
that.
to like you're not trying to interrogate him. You're not trying to like
Right.
dig things out of his mind. You're just
Right.
trying to get a feel, and he's not projecting anything. I'm just saying that he's more difficult to read than Lily would be. So
Okay.
I'm gonna make you roll for it. The difficulty is just 0, and the amount of successes you get would determine how much information you would get.
Cool. And I roll insight.
I would say insight and let's see. Probably you're reading him to get an idea of like the mission and stuff, right? And how
Yes,
he feels
yes.
about it.
If it's dangerous or if he's worried that something might go wrong, like worry basically.
Okay. I would say either command or security, because you're worried about like the security of the mission, right?
Okay, so insight plus command.
If you want to go more like you're trying to protect your crew from any complications, then that would be command. If you're more like you're worried about the security of the mission, that would be security.
No, yeah, my crew for sure. Command.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so I do insight.
And then I think, do you think any of your focuses would help you here?
No, I don't.
Okay, so put no focused use. Your complication range is 1. Your complication range is 1, and there's no difficulty on this task. So go ahead and just roll with no difficulty.
I'm clicking on insight and command, but I'm not like.
You just click on them, and then you'll click task roll.
Where's that? Where's the task roll?
It's the dice
There
roller.
it is. Got it.
Yeah, and don't click on a number because there's no difficulty. So you get 2 successes.
Okay.
So if anyone doesn't know, the way that dice work in Star Trek Adventures is you're rolling 2 d20s, and the number that you want is lower than the combination of your attribute and discipline. So you're rolling 2 d20s, and you're trying to get lower than 15 for
So
each
you
one.
gotta roll low. This game was built for me. See that? This is already.
So you got 2
Same.
successes, and I think what you get from Cisco is he's holding himself together, but he's feeling a little aggravated that him and his crew weren't chosen for this mission, because they are quite close to the Badlands, and he does have this brand new ship that has a cloak. He he's thinking like out loud that you don't have a ton of experience with the Cardassians, and you might not understand the way that they work specifically, but he's not going to say anything about second guessing his superior's commands.
Okay.
So he's a little bit like, he knows that you were assigned for a reason, but he thinks that he would do better.
Sure, that's fair. He wouldn't be a good captain if he didn't think that a little bit. But there's no like worry about us being like in danger or any like our ship getting hurt or our crew getting hurt.
No.
Okay, cool. That's what was my main concern. Like if he thinks that we might be flying into a trap or something.
No.
Okay, cool. Well, and then I take my leave of his office, I guess, and I take the pad with the orders on it or whatever.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that like you, DJ, sorry, I've gotta remember your names. Commander Sar and Lieutenant Archer and Lieutenant Cochran get to their quarters and everything is settled just fine. So do you give your off-duty officers a few hours of leave on the station?
Yep.
Okay, so all of you have the opportunity to hang out on Deep Space Nine for a little while. You think about what it is that you might want to get into. Lily, if you want to try and poke at Odo some more, or if you guys want to visit
He scared me so bad.
Quarks or the Hollow Suite or any of the restaurants on the promenade, or if there's anyone specifically that you'd want to talk to. If you want to get more information about like the Cardassians, if you want to consult the computer, those are all things that you can do.